LA Rider is brought to you by Dudley DeBosier Injury Lawyers, serving Louisiana motorcyclists and their families for nearly 2 decades. Dudley DeBosier, official injury lawyers for the Motorcycle Awareness Campaign.
When you're on a motorcycle, you got to look out for all kinds of stuff. But after a crash, it's a danger you can't see that can really get you.
The insurance company is working behind the scenes to deny you compensation.
They're building a case against you, but at Dudley DeBosier, we're working for you.
Keep your head on a swivel. Let these guys look out for you. Motorcycle crash? Demand different. Demand Dudley DeBosier. 444-4444.
Welcome to LA Rider, Louisiana's #1 source for motorcycle lifestyles, travel, and adventure. I'm T.W. Robinson, so glad you're joining us today. This week we take a ride to a little shack in Amite City, Louisiana that's serving up some pretty big shrimp and other delicious seafood dishes. Tammy and I helped celebrate International Beard Day and joined the Calhoun Beard Mob in raising money for kids. And the motorcycle community says a final goodbye to a friend and colleague. All this and much more coming up, so saddle up, grab that throttle, and let's take a ride. Welcome once again. I'm T.W. Robinson, so glad you're joining us today. If you've watched the show for very long, you know how much I love a good shrimp po' boy. Recently, I heard about a place in Tangipahoa Parish that made a great one, so naturally, I had to take a ride and check it out. Growing up on the east coast of Florida and spending most of my adult life in South Louisiana, it's just natural that I love seafood. But it also means that I'm pretty particular about where it's from and how it's cooked. Seafood chains like Red Lobster and Joe's Crab Shack may be just fine for some, but I prefer places where the seafood is fresh off the boat, so to speak. For several months, I've been hearing of a little restaurant in Amite where the seafood was fresh and cooked to perfection. But what really got my attention was that some were saying their shrimp po' boy was to die for. Well, when it comes to a good fried shrimp po' boy, I'm always up for a ride. And on this beautiful fall morning in late September, Red Rider and I were headed to the heart of Tangipahoa Parish for a visit to the Seafood Shack. The Seafood Shack is located in what appears to be an old convenience store on the west side of US 51, just north of town. It's not much to look at on the outside, but it's what's being served inside that counts. And that includes a wide variety of fresh seafood, boiled, grilled, and fried just the way you like it.
This is a family-owned and operated business. We've been here for almost 20 years. When I was 6 years old, my first job was put on ice chests and cleaning crawfish. That's how I got into it. And I've been doing it ever since. I'm 24 years old now and still I love it every day. We do crawfish, shrimp, crabs. Our #1 thing is crawfish. They're fresh, boiled, fried. That's our main business. As of right now, we're just doing crabs and shrimp, but it's beautiful. We love it.
New Orleans-style po' boys are also one of their specialties, so I ordered a fully dressed fried shrimp po' boy. Large, of course.
I'll let you know when I get back out there. I'll let you know.
Wow.
The bread we use is Leinheimer French bread, delivered straight from New Orleans twice a week, served freshly all week. Most places you go, the shrimp po' boys, you're gonna probably get big ones, but our goal is to load them up as best as possible. You really get what you pay for. When you see it, I'm like, a 12-inch is very hard to get. I always have the to-go box on hand because it's not gonna be long for once I'm be coming.
Now, if you prefer your seafood boiled, check out this shrimp. This man told us he comes here every Friday just for the boiled shrimp. Oh, and if for some crazy reason you don't want seafood, they also serve hamburgers and chicken. And I hear their roast beef po' boy is also quite good. Well, lots of leftovers. I mean, that was the biggest po' boy I think I have ever seen. And this place may not look like much on the outside. You really have to look for it and know where you're going. But on the inside, the food is absolutely incredible. If you like good seafood, take a ride to the Seafood Shack in Amite. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Stay with us. More LA Rider is coming up right after this.
LA Rider is brought to you by the Motorcycle Awareness Campaign, a 501c3 nonprofit organization exclusively dedicated to promoting motorcycle awareness and rider safety throughout Louisiana and the nation.
I didn't see him.
She just came out of nowhere.
God, what am I gonna do?
Watch for us.
See us.
Watch for us.
See us.
Watch for us.
See us. Watch for us.
See us.
Watch for us.
Save us.
Nearly 2/3 of all motorcycle fatalities are caused by distracted and inattentive drivers. Please, watch for motorcycles. Improve your skills. Make U-turns with ease. Tighten your corners and ride with more confidence and greater control. Sign up now for Cajun Thunder's motorcycle skills training course taught by police instructor Mike Richard and Amanda Joe at Cajun Thunder's state-of-the-art facility in Ponchatoula. Take your riding skills to the next level with Cajun Thunder's Rider Advancement Training.
Want a high-quality used motorcycle delivered to your door with a money-back guarantee? At usedbikesdirect.com, you can choose from hundreds of high-quality American, Japanese, and European motorcycles. Just browse our website, pick your bike, get your financing, and arrange your trade-in, all from the comfort of your home. And we'll deliver it straight to your door for free, complete with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Buying a used motorcycle has never been easier or safer. Just go to usedbikesdirect.com and start shopping.
I didn't see him.
Watch for us.
She just came out of nowhere.
See us.
God, what am I gonna do?
Save us.
Please, watch for motorcycles. You might just save someone's life.
You know, TW and I have done some crazy things over the last couple of decades, but I never ever thought that we would enter a beard contest. But that's exactly what we did here at Warhawk Harley-Davidson back in September, because if the guys can do it, why can't we? All right, girl. I have to be honest, when TW and I learned that September 3rd was World Beard Day and there was a beard contest at Warhawk Harley-Davidson, we thought there might be a little opposition to a couple of chrome cowgirls entering the contest. Whew, I'm so glad I did not have to shave today. Whew, it was such a hassle.
Well, as you can see, I haven't shaved in quite a while.
You have not. To our surprise, it was just the opposite.
Why'd y'all here? That's what you need to say. Why aren't you here?
Oh, yeah. Everybody should be here.
Everybody should be here.
What fun we're having.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were welcomed, and our whiskers were actually admired by the folks putting on the competition. In fact, there was even a category for ladies who crafted their own beards, and all it took was $5 to enter.
All right, and that'll be $5. All right, and y'all are registered. We have raffles over here. We have a table you can buy beard products if you need them.
All the proceeds are going to buy bicycles to hand out at the Christmas parade in Calhoun to little kids. We did it last year, and I think our club gave them 4 bikes, and we're trying to double that this year. So we're buying bikes to give away at Christmas.
TW was all set to try to bribe the judges. Unfortunately, it was 3 ladies, and her charm was completely lost on them.
Because I was hoping there was going to be a man on here, and then I had a chance.
The competition was tough. Several of the ladies in the craft beard category put together some pretty creative beards. But in the end, TW and I placed 2nd and 3rd.
This is the craft category. In 3rd place, Miss Tammy, where you at? Look at that. See, growing it out as help.
Yay!
2nd place, TW. And in 1st place, Crystal.
In the men's division, there were a whole bunch of cool beards and great-looking winners, like Warhawk's own parts guru, Byron McCoy, who took top honors for the 2nd year in a row, and Law Tiger's Bill Simpson, who seems to be everywhere at once. Beard Mob Louisiana says World Beard Day was a great success, and they will be back again next year. Now TW and I just need to figure out what we're going to do with those beards. I wonder if the circus might be looking for 2 bearded ladies. Stay with us. More LA Rider coming up.
At G & Gonzalez, we do it all, from really big to the really small. Keeping you safe? No problem. We have the latest AOT racing gear found exclusively at G & Gonzalez. Don't monkey around. Head on down to G & Gonzalez of Baton Rouge, where the fun begins.
When you're on a motorcycle, you got to look out for all kinds of stuff. But after a crash, it's a danger you can't see that can really get you.
The insurance company is working behind the scenes to deny you compensation.
They're building a case against you, but at Dudley DeBosier, we're working for you.
Keep your head on a swivel. Let these guys look out for you. Motorcycle crash? Demand different. Demand Dudley DeBosier. 444-4444.
I didn't see him.
She just came out of nowhere.
Oh, God, what am I gonna do?
Watch for us.
See us.
Watch for us.
See us.
Watch for us.
See us. Watch for us.
See us.
Watch for us.
Save us.
Nearly 2/3 of all motorcycle fatalities are caused by distracted and inattentive drivers. Please, watch for motorcycles.
Want a high-quality used motorcycle delivered to your door with a money-back guarantee? At usedbikesdirect.com, you can choose from hundreds of high-quality American, Japanese, and European motorcycles. Just browse our website, pick your bike, get your financing, and arrange your trade-in, all from the comfort of your home. And we'll deliver it straight to your door for free, complete with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Buying a used motorcycle has never been easier or safer. Just go to usedbikesdirect.com and start shopping.
For more than 40 years, Robert Rad Leonard has provided South Louisiana motorcyclists with all their needs, from a showroom jam-packed with all the latest gear to a full-service shop featuring skilled technicians who handle everything from routine service to complete engine rebuilds. Rad Cycles also carries a huge selection of pre-owned models and has the area's largest inventory of used bike parts. For all your riding needs, do what South Louisiana motorcyclists have been doing since 1978. Go Rad. Rad Cycles. They're rider recommended. Looking for a trailer? Check out Mike Gerald's Trailer Depot. At Mike's 2 Baton Rouge locations, you'll find a huge inventory of high-quality motorcycle trailers, boat trailers, cargo trailers, utility trailers, and custom-built trailers. Plus, the largest inventory of trailer parts and accessories in the area. Can't find that perfect trailer? Let Mike build one for you. Mike Gerald's Trailer Depot. 2 locations in Baton Rouge to serve you. They're rider recommended.
The Seafood Shack in Amite isn't the only shack in Louisiana worth visiting. Earlier this year, Amanda Jo took a ride to the Sugar Shack in Franklinton, where she found a lot more than just sweet treats.
On a beautiful April morning, with the sun in the sky and a breeze in the air, I decided to take advantage of this perfect day and go for a ride. I left my home in Ponchatoula and hopped on LA 40 towards Folsom. Now, if you've ever been on this road, you know how peaceful and serene it can be in this rural terrain. It's a nice country road with plentiful farms and cows, but I think it should have been called the Azalea Trail, because at this particular time of year, every azalea bush around was in bloom, and we were in for a treat of natural beauty. Along this route, I rode by Folsom's Global Wildlife Center, which of course I had to take a small detour for. My love for animals is almost equivalent to the love for my own steel horse, but this will be a story for next time. As I continued on this morning's journey, the highway shifted to LA 25 and put me right alongside one of Louisiana's largest plant nurseries, situated on over 400 acres with 180 greenhouses. It's called Windmill Nursery, and it's really a sight to see if you ever get the chance to pass by. After an hour-long trek, I made it to the small town of Franklinton to eat at the Sugar Shack, a restaurant I've been anxious to try. The Sugar Shack began in 2000 by John Schilling, who used to be in the dairy industry. He says when the industry started to slow down, he had to find another source of income, and what better way than to serve those in his hometown with fresh, home-cooked meals in a local restaurant. Even further, he prides his restaurant with the mission to take care of those in need and goes by the policy, we never close. When Hurricane Ida passed through, the Sugar Shack was out of power for around 6 days and still stayed open to help during this hard time. Just incredible.
The food here is so good. The chicken just has an incredible taste. I've already made it through the mashed potatoes and the broccoli and cheese, but it's so good. What's a must-have when you come here? Special. What are you most proud of?
Probably our king cakes.
The king cakes?
Yeah, we run about 700 king cakes a day during January through, and we do them all the way through Easter. We don't do as many, after Mardi Gras is over, but that's one of our biggest drawing cards. We shipped them to 42 states this year.
Schilling states that the Sugar Shack is a popular motorcycle destination as they have multiple groups that come in every weekend.
Now for my favorite part, the dessert. They had a whole bunch to choose from, peach cobbler, a little Oreo pie, but the banana pudding is always my favorite. Yep, it's definitely the best. Wow.
After having such a wonderful meal, it was time to head back home. I would say a morning filled with a nice relaxing ride through the countryside, a high-quality restaurant destination, and home cooking like no other was a success. For LA Rider, I'm Amanda Jo.
At Jandy Imports, we have everything for your ride. From high-quality leather jackets, vests, and chaps, to saddlebags, luggage, and riding boots. We have a large selection of helmets, too, and feature a full line of AMSOIL and bike care products. At Jandy Imports, you'll find the area's largest selection of patches, all sewn on for you while you wait. You need it? We've got it. At Jandy Imports, the little store with the big inventory.
Come see us at Jandy Imports.
Motocross? We've got it at G & Gonzalez in Baton Rouge. All the bikes, all the gear, and the expertise to help make you number one at the track. From beginner to expert, we've got just what you need at G & Gonzalez in Baton Rouge. Come see us today at G & Gonzalez, Louisiana's oldest family-owned power sports dealer, located in downtown Baton Rouge in the shadow of the state capitol.
Race on down to G & Gonzalez. Becoming number one starts here.
We're waiting for you!
All of a sudden I see this car, he stopped, starts to turn out in front of us. Next thing I knew, I was on the ground, crawling around, looking for, my boyfriend just to make sure he was okay. In 2 seconds, it can all be over, and people don't take the time to think about that when they're on the roads, because in our situation, the guy said, I saw them. I just thought I could make it. I never, ever in my entire life thought this would happen to me, honestly.
Just putting on leather and sitting on a bike doesn't make someone a biker, and it's easy to tell the posers from the pros.
Same goes for law firms. Just because someone's a lawyer doesn't mean they know motorcycle cases.
At Dudley DeBosier, we've been fighting for injured bikers all over Louisiana for years.
After a crash, get experience on your side. Call Dudley DeBosier. Motorcycle crash? Demand different. Demand Dudley DeBosier. 444-4444.
Support motorcycle safety and encourage other drivers to watch for motorcycles. Purchase a motorcycle awareness specialty plate for your car, truck, or motorcycle. For an additional $25 a year, you can help the Motorcycle Awareness Campaign promote safety, awareness, and training programs throughout Louisiana.
I'm T.W. Robinson. No matter what you ride, put a MAC plate on it and help support motorcycle awareness wherever you go.
Improve your skills. Make U-turns with ease. Tighten your corners and ride with more confidence and greater control. Sign up now for Cajun Thunder's Motorcycle Skills Training Course, taught by Police Instructor Mike Richard and Amanda Joe at Cajun Thunder's state-of-the-art facility in Ponchatoula. Take your riding skills to the next level with Cajun Thunder's Rider Advancement Training.
The last Saturday in October has always been a very big day at Coyote's Motorcycle Specialties. That's when the nationally recognized custom bike builder and mechanic threw his annual Harley-Ween party. For nearly 5 decades, Coyote designed and built custom motorcycles for a wide range of clients from all over South Louisiana and beyond. Harley-Ween was his way of showing his appreciation with tons of free food, adult beverages, music, and lots of shop talk.
Why do you do this every year?
For my people. It's more of a customer appreciation kind of thing. I tell them, the money you spent with me over the year, come get some of it back today.
Long before American Chopper and Jesse James, Coyote was building bikes like this. This was one of Coyote's earliest builds, an old panhead that he raked and turbocharged. A rather radical custom when it graced the pages of all the national motorcycle magazines in the late 60s. Clearly, Coyote was building choppers long before choppers were cool. But he never sought the limelight or the notoriety modern builders seek. Instead, Coyote was content to tinker away in his shop and let his work speak for him. And they did. Coyote's bikes won more awards than even he could count, but he rarely talked about them. This past weekend was the last Harley-Ween at Coyote's, as friends, family, and former customers gathered to pay tribute to the beloved bike builder who passed away following a short illness in early September. As usual, there was music, food, and adult beverages, but most of the talk centered on the man who touched so many lives.
Coyote, when he was a small child, probably maybe 9 or 10, when fireworks were not legal in East Baton Rouge where he lived, and we lived in Iberville Parish, which fireworks were legal. He and his parents would come down to visit the family, and he would buy the Black Cat firecrackers and then bring them to Baton Rouge and sell them at a profit. So I always knew he was going to be a great entrepreneur at an early age. We knew it, and look, he's been successful, and we love him.
I've known Coyote a very long time. He was a very, very dear friend. He was a mentor. He's what I consider the silent Jesse James of the motorcycle world. Nobody ever knowed about him, but if you look around his shop, he can stand toe-to-toe with any bike builder. I learned from him. I helped him. He helped me. We drank beer together. I miss him. I truly do. He was one of the good guys. You know, he let his work do the talking, and He did some fantastic work. His customers are very, very loyal. You know, I'm honored to be able to help any of them I can. I wish he was here, and I'm sure he's up there somewhere, bro. What's with the rain, bro?
One person who was at nearly every Halloween party was Coyote's mom. For years, Coyote's real name was a closely guarded secret, and she shared with us how he came to be known as Coyote.
How did he get the name Coyote?
His dentist gave him that. The dentist gave all his friends. They all went to the same dentist. And he said, sometime I can't remember your name, so he gave them each one.
How did he get into motorcycles?
He would be under the carport fixing his bicycle, and all the little kids in the neighborhood would come. They call him Mr. Mister, could you come fix my bicycle?
The gathering was a rather poignant and bittersweet moment for many, as we admired some of Coyote's personal favorites in his small showroom and navigated the tightly packed shop floor where some of his former creations gather dust. We found this 2-engine build, which bears Coyote's favorite theme, Halloween, gathering dust in one corner. We asked him once why he built this bike, and he said simply, to see if it would run. It did, and with a little tender loving care, probably would again. Coyote loved motorcycles, and he loved making people happy. He built a lot of great bikes and made a lot of people very happy. What a great legacy. We hope you've enjoyed this week's edition of LA Rider. In the coming weeks, we're heading to the mountains to check out the twisties and the beautiful fall colors, as well as a few other points of interest in Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, and North Carolina. Until then, I'm T.W. Robinson, reminding you that we haven't been everywhere, but it's on our list. See you next week for more LA Rider.
LA Rider is brought to you by Dudley DeBosier Injury Lawyers, serving Louisiana motorcyclists and their families for nearly 2 decades. Dudley DeBosier, official injury lawyers for the Motorcycle Awareness Campaign.
Just putting on leather and sitting on a bike doesn't make someone a biker, and it's easy to tell the posers from the pros.
Same goes for law firms. Just because someone's a lawyer doesn't mean they know motorcycle cases.
At Dudley DeBosier, we've been fighting for injured bikers all over Louisiana for years.
After a crash, get experience on your side. Call Dudley DeBosier. Motorcycle crash? Demand different. Demand Dudley DeBosier. 444-4444.
God bless chrome cowgirls like us.